back, fellow scrappers. Tony here with the Scrap Shack. 3.9's fine. It's been a minute or two since I've done a video because life happens. But today I'm working on trying to get some stuff done in here, and I've got a bunch of aluminum copper radiators or condensers that came out of air conditioning units. You'll find them in air conditioning units, humidifiers, things like that. Yeah, I'm having a bad hair day. But today I'm going to show you how to scrap these out to get all the copper out of them. And we're going to actually use a pizza cutter. So if you've never seen this before, stay tuned. Alright, so as you can see, I have my radiator condenser in the vise here, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut all these off of the edge here. You can do this however you want. You can use a sawzall. I'm going to use a grinder on this one just because of the way it's going to work easier with a grinder. I've seen people do it both ways, cut on the inside of this or cut on the outside of this, because this is steel, so we don't want this at all. All of this is aluminum, but what we want is the copper out of this thing. So I'm going to take a grinder and cut along this. If you cut on the inside, you have to pull these out of that, and it can kind of be a pain. So we're just going to do it this way. And simply, by the way, safety glasses. And we're just going to go ahead and cut these off. Now that I have those cut off, we're just going to take a plier and we're going to peel that right off of there, just like that. And that's going to go in our, you know what? This one's actually aluminum. Bonus. Alright, I'm going to do the other side. We'll be right back. Alright, I'm going to take that back. Not aluminum, stainless steel. Because it is slightly magnetic. So, this is what we accomplished thus far. We've got all of our little ears cut off at the end. And now, we have all of these copper tubes that are in there. They don't come out very easy. Well, they kind of do. So, let me get this out of the vise, laid down flat, and we'll get going. Alright. I have it laid down flat on my workbench. Now, I've gotten a carpet knife and a straight edge, and if you can cut in a straight line, you're a better man than I am. So, what I want to do here is I'm going to lay my straight edge, and if you see, we have right there, you can see that that's the copper tube that is inside these fins. What we're going to do is we're going to lay our straight edge right down on the middle of those copper tubes. And with the carpet knife, we're just going to cut this. Now, this is fairly easy to cut through. I usually take about 3 swipes through it. That way I know I've cut all the way down to that copper, because I want to cut all the way down to the copper tube in there. So when you do this, wear gloves, because these are sharp. So you don't want to be slicing and dicing your fingers on this one. So I'll get this set back up and we'll start cutting. Yeah, I know that things can sometimes be a little tough to see here because I don't have ways to mount my camera up above me so you can see what I'm doing. But like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and lay my straight edge right across one of the tubes. Take my carpet knife. That one actually cut pretty easy. I'm going to go to the next tube and do the same thing. And I like starting from the center and working my way out to the end. Some of these stay together fairly well, and some of them don't. And this is one that doesn't. Alright, I've got a few of these cut, and I'm not going to do them all on camera because that's just boredom and tedious. Now, you can see we have, this is the cut marks that I made. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pizza cutter, which I picked up for like $1 at a thrift store. And I'm going to go in between my two cuts, and I'm just going to roll down on this stuff. So I got a cut there and a cut there. I'm just going to take my pizza cutter, and I'm just going to roll down. I'll work it back and forth a little bit. Now I'm going to go to the next one. Same thing. I'm going to go down the middle of it. I'm just going to roll down. What you're actually doing is you're peeling away from the copper, and there was no copper tubes in that part. Wow. Alright, let me reset here. If you look at this radiator, you'll see no tube, no tube, no tube, no tube, no tube. Guess where I cut? Where there's no tubes. I'll cut some other ones. And that might have explained why it really wasn't staying together. So, if you look real close, I cut here, and I cut here, and I cut here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the pizza roller and go right down the middle. Pizza cutter. Doesn't take a lot of force. I just like to be in the middle because it tends to make it a whole lot easier to get them out. So, what you end up with when you're done is now you can see the copper in there. I'm going to show you on the next one here. And I'm going to try to do this with one hand and film with the other, so if this doesn't turn out well, don't blame me. So I just start on the edge and I shoot for the middle. And you'll be able to see it actually pull the aluminum away from those tubes. See how it pulls that aluminum up and away? And like I said, the more you get it pulled away, the easier the next step is. So I'll just kind of work it back a little bit. Alright, so this tube now is ready to come out. And really, all it takes at this point in time is I have just a punch. And all I'm going to do is come up here to the end, put my punch on there, and they just slide right out. And there you go. That is the easy way to strip down an aluminum copper radiator with a pizza cutter. I do want to show you one more thing. I'm going to get this kind of finished up. You notice, again, I start in the middle. Everything kind of stays together better when you start in the middle. When I get to the end, these down here, they operate a little differently. And I'll show you real quick how I do those. I'm going to get the middle ones out of here, and then we'll go from there. And we're back. So, as you can see, I have all the tubes out of the center of this. I always leave the end ones because this gets kind of flimsy and floppy. So if you've got the end ones in, you have a little support. And I don't know if I said this from the get-go, but when you start in the center, you're going to want to, this is where the tubes came out of. Right here in this channel. There we go. So that's where the tubes came out of, is right here in this channel. And this is here, and here is where I ran the pizza cutter down and pushed it down. these are interference fit in there, so the reason they slide out so easy is because you're pulling that aluminum away from both sides, and then they'll just slide right out. So when you do the center one, do both sides of it first, then pull it out, and then you just keep going and going and going and going. Now we get to the end ones. So problem is you can't run a pizza cutter down the end here because it doesn't work. So what I like for that is a wood chisel. And I'll just go ahead and take this like this. I'll take the wood chisel and we'll just work it down. You see how it's exposing the pipe? You can do this through the whole thing, but it's a lot more work than using the pizza cutter. Because this is how I started doing these, and it worked out really well. There's got to be an easier way. Yep, take a pizza cutter, just roll it down the middle. It'll work just fine. Again, I'm filming this with one hand and holding it down with the same hand. And so once you got that, just again, anything will work. Just all you want to do is give it a little push out one end. And there it's out the end, and just give her a pull. And there we have our piece of copper. So, yeah, that is the easy way to do these. Hopefully you found this video interesting, and probably shorter than most of my other ones. So, if you did, please like, subscribe, hey, even share, hit the bell, whatever those buttons are. And we'll see you in the next one. Hopefully it comes a little sooner than this one did. Until the next time, happy scrapping.